this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And we have to remember that even when things don't go our way. Well, here's what's trending. Duke University ends full ride scholarship program for select black students in wake of affirmative action ruling. So now, this is the red herring. This is everybody going, oh, I know they were going to do that. I know they were going to do that. Stop. Stop. Okay, let's refocus. Duke is discontinuing its Reginaldo Memorial Scholarship program, a program for top applicants of African descent in the wake of last year's Supreme Court decision that ended race-based affirmative action in college admissions. Well, the first thing that stands out to me is top applicants. So if you have students of African descent that are top applicants, they don't need affirmative action. The announcement comes amidst a national trend with a number of public universities ending their own race-based scholarship programs in response to the Supreme Court ruling. Established in 1979, the Merit Scholarship, which also required some recipients to demonstrate financial need, covered full tuition, room and board for a select group of black undergraduates. The scholarship is named in honor of Reginaldo "Reggie" Howard, Duke's first black student government president, who died in an automobile accident during his sophomore year in 1976. Now let's look at this and see how really insidious this is. Number one, it said these are top applicants. So these are smart students, but the main problem with these smart students is that they are in financial need. So it's not about them not being qualified. It's not about them not being smart enough. It's about them being poor, but mostly about them being black. So they can't say these students don't have the grades. So now it's just about them being black. And this is also the case for reparations. Because why is it that black students in the United States of America can't afford to go to college when they're brilliant students? It's because their families have been denied the ability to create generational wealth so that in 2024 they can afford to send their children to Duke. So yes, it's about race, all right, but we have to keep in mind at all times, white people do not want to compete with black people. So this is taking away the competition. That's what it's about. Now that's how I read it. They love to make the case that black students make such low scores on the SAT or the ACT. They love to make that case. So therefore, they shouldn't get in Harvard, even though those students that are getting in Harvard are not making low scores on the SAT. But they like to make that case. But here, you have top applicants. So the only thing they can say here is, this is affirmative action, and affirmative action has been repealed. That's the only argument they have. This college has set aside a scholarship program for somebody that apparently was a good student there. And only about 15 or 20 students are getting in on those scholarships. So that's not really a large group of students. But they want to take everything that they can away from black people that they think might help black people advance beyond the bottom caste. Rather than seeing this as a loss for black people, I see this as a win. It's not that black students are not qualified. It's not that black students are not smart enough. It's that black students have been too successful. See, what America likes to do is focus on marginalized black people, on welfare, black on black crime. They like to focus on stuff like that. But the majority of black people are not committing crimes, and the majority of black people are not on welfare. The majority of black people are out here in these streets competing against them and winning, and that is the problem. We won't stay in the box. So if anybody was under the impression that they were trying to be fair at Duke, we can dispel that notion right now. The goal was never to be fair. So the title of this video is College Was Never Meant for Everybody. It is not for everybody. College is about discipline. It's about getting up out of the bed on time, getting to class, taking notes, keeping up with reading assignments, writing papers, and passing tests. That's what college is about for black people. That is what college is about for black people. So if you are a black person in 2024 and you're not disciplined, you don't want to get up out of the bed, get to class, take notes, read assignments, write papers, and pass tests, you don't need to go to college. You do need to specialize in something where you can make a livable wage. But you don't need to go to college, because if you can't do those things that I said, and you have to start that out in high school, and you can't pass the tests that they're saying you need to pass, then that's just a black mark on black people. Because even in HBCUs and PWIs in public universities, the state sets standards now that you have to make a certain score on a test to get into a specialized degree program. So you do need to discipline yourself if you want to go to college. Now that's what college was set up for black people. Now for white people, it was a whole different story. The way college was set up in America was for the rich to go to college. Rich people go to college. That's what Duke and Yale and Cornell and all of those colleges started out being, for rich people's children to go to college, to give them an advantage over everybody else. But everybody really doesn't need to go to college, and definitely not to go to whatever they call Ivy League schools. Because in the black community, most of the black people who have done anything worthwhile have not gone to Harvard or Yale or any of those so-called Ivy League schools. Even the inventors, I just talked about Dr. Valerie Thomas, whose technology is behind these x-ray machines, CAT scan, and the MRI machine. She went to Morgan State, which is an HBCU. Dr. Gladys West, whose technology is behind the GPS system, went to Virginia State, which is an HBCU. And I could go on. There are several who went to Tennessee State or Southern University in Louisiana. They went to HBCUs and they were very successful. So black people don't need to go to an Ivy League school to be successful. All Harvard is doing for black people is building a better Negro. And I could take out Negro and put in Sambo, and you would really know what I meant. A Negro that's going to fall in step with the status quo. But I believe the time has come now for black people, especially who are interested in college and higher education, to start taking it seriously before you get to high school. Because that will determine what your GPA is leaving high school and going into college. So if you're just going to college, to pledge or just to hang out and not have to go to work for 4 years, you really need to rethink it. Because these right-wing groups have a radar focus on black students in college. They're looking at your grade point average, they're looking at your national test scores, and they're looking at your family's income. So anything that smacks of poverty or that you didn't make a high enough score on the SAT or the ACT, they are coming for you. And they're coming for other black students. And no, they're not going to go after the legacies. And no, it's not fair, but that's how they play the game. They want the legacies in those schools because that's who they built the schools for in the first place. They want black people back at the bottom caste. I think they feel like black people have been trying to climb up too high, so they're just going to knock you back down. That's what it's about. And also the fact that they don't want to compete. They don't want their children to have to compete with black people. They will name all the things that black people dominate in. And so they're like, this is the line. We're going to hold this line here. And that's the education line, and that's the test score line. So they're going to hold that line as long as they can. And that is why I say black students who want to go especially to those schools should start preparing for them when they're in elementary school. That's really what you have to do. Black students and Hispanic students and Asian students too, they have to have the test scores. White kids are the only ones who don't have to have the test scores. It's not fair, but this is the hand you're dealt. So the best thing to do is to play that hand to the best of your ability. Now that's how I see it. But let me know how you see it. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.